All right. We did a little keepsake box, or I did one just recently for To Kill a Mockingbird. And it was the two little soap dolls inside of the little box when you opened it up, in other words. And I got good response for these little keepsake boxes. Now, most of these are going to be based upon novels, that beloved novels that people loved and saw, and they made movies out of and things like that. And so the one that I'm going to do now would be one of the very beloved novels made in the movie, everything like that, called Moby Dick, about the big whale, Captain Ahab and the whale, the white whale, as he called it. So I thought what would be a nice little box is to carve the carve the little whale and put it in the box. Okay? So we're going to carve a little whale. I cut him out. Now, we've carved some whales before, but this one specifically, this is only about 3 inches long and about 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches tall. Now, I went ahead and had the grain going this way because we're going to be doing that. So, we're going to carve this little whale. Now, like I said, we've carved some whales before, but this is going to be specifically for the little box. Now, the little box I'll show you, we get them from Hobby Lobby, and I'll show you how I get the emblem off of the images of the computer. Now, you'll have to have a printer. You print it out, and you print it, try to get it the right size of the box. You may have to cut it down a little bit or whatever, and then you glue it onto the box itself. You stain the box a little bit or paint it a little bit. Then you put that on the top of it, and when you open up, then you have the little piece inside of it. So, anyway, we've got a little knife, and let's go to our tail here. And let's just calmly, this tail's got to come down, of course. And the same over here. And we'll just kind of come around here. And we want to be very careful with this tail's going to have to be really come down quite a bit. Because the tail of the, we want to be careful anyway. We want to get it down, but want to be careful not to go too crazy. And just keep bringing it down. All right, bringing that tail, because the tail is thin on a on a, before we go much further, let's go ahead and just kind of do that like that. Do that like that. There we go. We just kind of bring that down. All right, now we're getting it down. Take it easy here, and when you get in here, we want to kind of, actually just sort of a shaping type deal. We just shape that figure. Shape that whale like that. Now we want to be careful because we want to be sure we're going to come in between these things here. Let me move this up just a little bit. There we go. I can keep in range here. Let's go ahead and take this down in here. Just kind of come around here. Okay. Not a hard project. Actually a very simple project, but perfect for what we need for our little keepsake box. A lot of young people today, to them, these are not, maybe perhaps not classic, memorable stories. But in my day, these were. There are several books that I just, like I told you, I guess just got through doing To Kill a Mockingbird with the little soap dolls. There's Moby Dick. There's Great Expectations. There's The Lord of the Flies. These are things, these are classic books that we all read when we were young. And now on the front, we want to go ahead and come down. This on both sides, start coming forward. The Lord of the Flies was something we all had to read. There's several of them. A lot of your Mark Twain stuff is Huckleberry Finn. These are classic books. These are books that are very classic. They are well read. I don't know in books, and I mean, I don't know that much about school anymore. Before we go on, let's go ahead and come in between these fins. Let's go ahead and make a cut in here, a cut in there. We're just going to kind of bring those fins, cut them, separate them right now. Huckleberry Finn. A lot of different books. There's a ton of books that we used to have to read. They were mandatory reading in school. I don't know what they now with all this mess going on. I've even heard they want to take To Kill a Mockingbird off the school shelves because it's radical or racist or whatever, and which is just silly, but it is, because these were classic books that were very touching stories, and it just seems like nobody wants to hear about that anymore. These were all books that we read and were classics and Moby Dick was one of them. And of course, Moby Dick was the story of the great white whale and Captain Ahab as he went after. There have been movies made of it. Gregory Peck was in the first movie, and excellent movie. And story of a whaling captain that was obsessed with the white whale because he had dealt with him one time before, and I think he took his leg off. Yeah, so I think that's what it was. And it is just really. There was a classic book called The Old Man and the Sea. Now that wasn't required reading, but it's a classic book that we had. There are many classics, and this is one of them. There have been, I think, many films made of Moby Dick. I don't think any of them quite as good as the one with Gregory Peck, but it was a very good one. All right, you see, we're getting this down now. But there were many of them made, and the ending of Moby Dick was just really quite amazing. It's an amazing story of a man obsessed with it's sort of a man against nature type. Actually, it was probably one of the first where man fought nature, and nature won. Okay, we just kind of go around this thing and I'll have to get in there and clean that up. Yeah, it's sort of a man against nature thing, and at the repetition of it all, everybody remembers at the end that he destroyed Ahab and his ship, and there was only one survivor that lived from it to actually tell the story of what happened. Just an amazing story. Of Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. So basically, in this type of thing, if you carve your little whale, what you do, and you paint him up, and we're going to paint him sort of at first sort of a gray, and then we're going to paint him white because he was the Ahab called him the white whale. Obviously he was a whale that had caused havoc all over the seas, and that's why Ahab was after him so much. It was sort of a revenge type thing. He was going to get the white whale and kill it, and that would be his final victory of all, but it didn't turn out that way. It didn't. As Ahab found out that the whale had something else in mind, as we say. Okay, well, tell you what. Now what we have to do is we have to make the whale fit in the, before we do it, now the little box that you can buy, and I'm going to go get the little box here in a minute. You have to make sure that after you carve it, that the little whale is going to fit in to the box. You don't want to, we're going to kind of cut these The whale has to fit in the box, okay? Because if it doesn't fit in the box, then you know. Let's kind of do this. So it's a very simple project, but it's going to have a lot of worth to it to someone. I have talked to people who love the classics and literal books that told me they would love to have something like this, just a symbolize of that. And let me go get the box, all right? And let's look at something here. Just a minute. I should have had it with me, but I didn't. Let me get it right now. These little boxes you can get at Hobby Lobby. There's no use making. You can make the boxes, but there's no use doing. There's no use going to all that trouble to make the darn box, because you can get these at Hobby Lobby, and they're cute little boxes. They are, and they just go like that. And like the you saw in when I did the To Kill a Mockingbird, they're very simple boxes. I think they're like $1.99. They're not even that much. Yeah, maybe they're $1.99. I don't know, like $2. I mean, you can't make the boxes for that. If you wanted to make a box, you can. That doesn't matter. Then you got to buy all the hardware and stuff and all that stuff. But anyway, the whale has got to fit in the box, and he does. See? Fits right in there. All right? And you want to make sure that he fits in the box. And then you open the little box, and there's the white whale inside. So you want to make sure, before you get through carving him and painting him, that he does fit in the box right. And you try to get your pattern. I believe the pattern was only 3 inches, and so the box is actually 3 inches by like 1 3/4 high, the insides of it. So by carving this down, the whale fits perfect into the little box. Actually, the whale is finished. I mean, there's no really much left to him. When we paint him, we'll put his little eyes on him and all that other stuff. I mean, we can carve some little eyes, but you can just, for something that lay, you can just put a little eye in there. I mean, it's simple as that. See. And as little time that it takes, you can make a little keepsake for anybody. For instance, think about this for a minute. Say that the very classic book, I know a lot of you have heard of it, called Old Yeller, about the dog, and then so carve a little dog, and like that kind of look like Old Yeller, and then paint him in that sense, and then put him inside the little box, and fix up the box itself. In other words, that you would want to have, and there you got it. There you've got your thing. So really, it's just thinking up some ideas of what you're trying to say or try to do. And so this will be about Moby Dick. And so actually he's through. Let me go wet him. So it took just a very little short period of time, and you've got your little whale, And there he is. See? Very simple. And I'm going to sand him a little bit. I am. I'm not going to... I want to sand him just a little bit, because smooth him out just a little bit, because a whale, he would be a lot smoother. Yes, he would be. A little bit, you know. In that sense. But we're going to... Like I said, we're going to paint him first a light gray, and then we're going to go over him with a white. Because he was a grayish white, but he was, remember Ahab called him the white whale. So, then he went after him. So anyway, there's a little project, and the next thing I'm going to show you is, we're going to go to the computer. I'm going to show you how you get to the images that you would like to find for the box itself, in other words. Now, you'll have to stain the box or paint the box in a way that you could even paint the box blue. Or that's what I may do. I may use a light blue on the box itself, so the wood can show through, since it what represents the it represents the ocean and all that stuff, and then put on the thing Moby Dick, and then it will open up. So the person has it. The little whale fits inside there just like that, and then it shuts. And as the keepsake is, they open up, and there's a little white whale in there. Okay? Same thing. I don't have room for Ahab, but I mean, there's a little white whale. You don't have to have all the characters, you understand? This is just like a little keepsake thing. So when they open it up, as they see Moby Dick, there's the little white whale inside as a keepsake inside the little box. Okay? Just like the little soap dolls. I didn't carve all the characters of To Kill a Mockingbird, but I carved something that was simple, that would fit in the box for it. So we'll go next to the situation here and what we want, and we'll go from there. All right, God bless now.